Hello and thanks for joining us. We're starting at one of the world's biggest photojournalism festivals, which takes place in the south of France. This year, there are 6 exhibitions out of more than 20 at the Visa Pour L'Image, focusing on the climate catastrophe. In this report from Perpignan, we see the impact of extreme droughts around the world.
Water can be both a deadly and life-giving source. British photographer Ian Berry has spent over 20 years documenting the effects of climate change on the world's water supply.
This is in Ethiopia, and a terrible drought. I just like the woman's eyes, because she has terrific eyes. She was just waiting for water. I really just want to highlight the fact that water is a problem that faces everybody. I mean, we will be fighting wars in the Middle East very soon, not about oil, but about water.
Photographer Sandra Mel is also on a mission to capture the devastating consequences of water-related disasters. She spent 7 years in Louisiana with a French-speaking Native American community, the first official climate refugees in the United States.
Cette photo a été prise en 2017.
This photo was taken in 2017 on the Isle of Jean-Charles, 130 kilometers south of New Orleans. It's lost 98% of its territory since 1955. It's an isle that will soon disappear due to rising sea levels and oil drilling, and it'll be gone within 2 generations.
Most of the residents were relocated 70 kilometers north of the island to a former sugarcane field. But 5 families decided not to leave their homes.
Here we see Denicia and Wenceslaus Billiard, an elderly couple who have always lived on the isle. They met there and married there, and then they passed away before the house disappeared. Their wish was to remain living on the isle until the end, and in a way their wish has been granted.
The equivalent of a football pitch is swallowed up every hour on this island in the Mississippi Delta.
I didn't know the island was disappearing. I was really shocked, surprised.
I have children. They're the future of the world, and it doesn't seem like there's enough awareness about this matter.
Photojournalists continue to capture a world in peril, where man-made changes to nature are no longer a mere threat, but a reality.
The Visa Pour L'Image Photojournalism Festival is on until the 17th of September in Perpignan in the south of France. Next, on the 10th of April 1912, the Titanic began its maiden voyage to New York with more than 2,200 people on board. 4 days later, it hit an iceberg and sank into the freezing waters, killing 1,500 people. The wreckage was finally located in 1985, nearly 700 kilometres southeast of Newfoundland. Now, at a fascinating exhibition here in Paris, hundreds of objects from the wreck are on display. Let's take a guided tour.
It may not seem impressive, but this is the spot where visitors shout they're the kings of the world.
I've watched the film many times. It's fascinating. I've done a lot of research on the Titanic.
It's one of the only times I'll be able to see such amazing things from the Titanic without leaving Europe.
Enthusiasts can relive some of the Titanic experience without its tragic ending. Visit the first-class cabin, retrace the footsteps of Kate Winslet on the ship's grand staircase. The exhibit features 260 objects recovered over the course of some 30 expeditions to the wreck at the bottom of the Atlantic.
It's emotional because you experience a bit of what the passengers faced. It's a piece of history that we relive through this exhibition.
Among the objects, these banknotes found in passengers' wallets, or these playing cards still miraculously preserved after more than 80 years underwater.
It survived in leather. The microorganisms are prevented from destroying the paper because they're barred by the tanning process for the leather. The chemicals that are used to cure the leather prevent the microorganisms from being able to eat them.
On the night of the 14th of April 1912, the Titanic struck an iceberg at 11:40 p.m. This was the telegraph the ship's captain used to alert the crew from the command cabin.
When they saw the iceberg to turn Titanic, then that was called down and transmitted to the engine room using the telegraph. So it's a very significant piece to the ship.
One of the exhibit's organizers was Paul-Henri Nargeolet, who died in June on the Titan submersible attempting to reach the wreck. His daughter paid him a tribute.
Being able to see part of my father's work brings him close to me. It feels like he's still here, because all of this was his dream, his life. He devoted so many years to it. To see all of this is to have a part of him with me.
Thanks to Nargeolet's 35 expeditions, visitors can now see these treasures for themselves. And the exhibit ends with a mesmerizing immersive reality visit to the Titanic.
And that extraordinary exhibition, the Titanic exhibition, has been such a success that it's been extended until the 1st of October. The Paris neighbourhood of Montmartre draws thousands of tourists to its winding streets each day. And one woman is giving some of them a special introduction to the historic and cultural district through her musical talent, as Monty Francis reports.
Pour nous l'éternité, dans le bleu de toute l'immensité.
Anne-Sophie Guerrière is a guide with a gift of song. And this is how she begins her tour of the winding streets near Sacré-Cœur, on the great hill known as Montmartre. Many legendary artists have lived here, and her tour follows in their footsteps.
She came to live here in 1932 at the age of 17. Edith Piaf.
Emportés par la foule qui nous traîne, nous entraîne, écrasés l'un contre l'autre, nous ne formons qu'un seul corps.
And like the singers who inspire her, Anne-Sophie has become a bit of a local celebrity herself.
We all know her because she sings Edith Piaf from her window.
I fell in love with this neighbourhood, and the thing that's incredible is that my whole career came from that choice to live here. Because if I had not decided to live in Montmartre, I would not have created this singing tour.
Around a few bends, and we find her at the doorstep of another musical icon.
We are at 3 Rue Véron, and in 1962, Claude François lived here.
Claude François. Belle, belle, belle comme le jour. Belle, belle, belle comme l'amour. Belle, belle, belle comme
le jour. Tout le monde est fan. Everyone is a fan of Claude François.
Anne-Sophie's voice bringing delight not only to those on her tours, but to visitors nearby.
I feel like you come to Paris, though, for that like cliched experience anyway.
It's the first time at Paris, so for all I know, this is a normal.
The tour guide's love for Montmartre and its artists proving infectious. Au clair de la lune, à Montmartre le soir. Edith Piaf, Dalida, Charles Aznavour. Voices of the past still bringing life to Montmartre in song.
A guided tour like no other. Now, Pablo Picasso is known for his graphic art, paintings and sculptures. But on the 50th anniversary year of the legendary artist's death, we thought we'd highlight his pottery. Picasso designed more than 600 different ceramic works, ranging from carved plates to unique bird-shaped pictures.
These vases seem familiar. They were made by Pablo Picasso. He was already one of the world's leading artists when he turned to ceramics and changed pottery forever. His fascination with ceramics started in 1947 in Valoris, southern France, the capital of pottery for many generations. But Picasso had a specific idea of what ceramics should look like.
His Parisian friends almost mocked Picasso. How can Picasso, the artist who created the pink and blue period and painted Guernica, how could he make pots? They thought it was beneath him.
Picasso begged to differ. His ceramics were an extension of his own style, his own art. This workshop has remained unchanged. It's where he made 4,000 original pottery pieces, all unique. The approach was artistic and ideological.
At the time he joined the Communist Party, he was presented in the press as a worker, a craftsman. To him, pottery was the best way to spread his art to large audiences.
And many people got the concept. Buyers flooded Valoris. New types of vases popped up in the city's shops. Pottery became popular with new crowds. Meanwhile, Picasso turned into a local hero, followed around town on every occasion, like here, when he bought some cigarettes. The artist long gone, his plates, vases, and pots dispatched in museums across the world are a testimony to that colorful period of his career.
Well, that brings us to the end of the show. We'll leave you with a film festival in its 13th year that celebrates filmmakers from the African diaspora. FIFTA is taking place in Paris, showing films from all over the world, including Switzerland, Morocco, Burkina Faso and Angola. It's on until the 10th of September. Thanks for watching. See you next time.